it. So he's like thinking of a way out of it, and then he's like, "No, I'll go get it."
You got to check out this guy, Mattimo. Yeah, Mattimo's Arcade.
I don't know enough about his methods. I would love to talk to him one day.
What's up, gang? In this episode, we're going to do some monitor repair. This is a Wells Gardner K7500. The easiest way to tell on this one, especially, is this sticker here. It says 2575, and that'll tell you that it's a 25-inch, and it's the K7500. I have a little diagram, if I can remember to stick it on there. It kind of shows you how to at least figure out what the Wells Gardners are. But they usually will have a WG, and then how big the monitor is, and then what style the monitor is. Sorry. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is just the test tube, and this is one of Mike's chassis, so we're just going to use this to get a look at it. And so this is going to be for our customer. He started the cap kit and then just ran into some couple normal problems that we probably all run into. And instead of going further and doing any damage or causing himself any problems, he decided to just call somebody. And so we're going to go ahead. This isn't his chassis, but we're going to go ahead and look at his chassis. Any problems that we see, I'll point it out, show you guys how to fix it, and then that way he'll know how to fix it and you guys will know how to fix it at the same time. So this one's a medium res monitor. It's for a Golden Tee, which I do believe the year that he has, you can switch back and forth. Another good way to tell if this is a 7500 or a 7400, 7400 is standard resolution, is this right here is going to be coming off, and usually there is a transistor that's right there on that little back part, heat sink or whatever it is there. Okay, I'm just making sure. Let's make sure this really is a 7500. Well, it is, because it has this. Whether or not that and the tube are is another story. But we're going to go through. I know he said for sure one of them, either like the solder pad came off or the trace came up, and so it wouldn't take any solder. So I'll show you guys how to fix that, and we'll go through and test the B plus, and then adjust it, get it all good looking, and that way we can send it back to him, hopefully tomorrow. But let me get set up here, and we'll pull out his chassis and take a look at it. Alright, so it looks like he did an excellent job packing this, if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and pull it out. Definitely save the bubble wrap. One nice thing about these 74 and 7500s is the flyback doesn't die as often. What did I do with my knife? Nah. See if these will work. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Usually, like if the hot's dead and the fuses are blown, I definitely think that the flyback's gone. But these, I've noticed more often than not, I didn't have to buy a flyback, which is good news. I think they're getting kind of pricey nowadays, $60 or so. Hang on a second, I'm going to grab my knife. I didn't think ahead. All right, a little bit better. But it does bring me to the point I was trying to get to. When you guys mail these off to somebody, whether it's me or another guy, cap kit, whether it's me or another guy, you know, in the groups or something that fixes chassis, make sure you wrap the neck board separate from the chassis, because a lot of times people will just stick them together, wrap them up, but then they ride and they just grind on each other, and it can do some serious damage. So that's just a really a helpful helpful tip for both sides, both parties. Means we can get the job done a little bit faster and probably less in part money too. Much better with a knife. And you can't wrap it too much. I'm not going to get mad about having to take a bunch of stuff off. That's for sure. Alright. Plus, I will definitely use this and send it back. Okay, so good news. We have the little pigtail. Make sure you guys are in frame. Okay. So it is a 7500. Let's see, there's a sticker here, and it also says Wells Gardner 2775. So it will be a little bit different than that too, but I think I can still get it on there. Just kind of taking a visual on it. I can see some new caps, and I can see some old ones. I know he said it had a nice dark spot on it. Let me get you guys a little bit closer over here. I'm hogging all the good view. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Willow has found the bubble wrap. Alright. There we go. A little bit more light. Alright, it's about as good as I can do on the light. So he said it in his note that he got the neck board done and then some around the outside. I'm sure we'll be able to see because the caps are obviously old. I don't see any bulging ones, but there are, like that one's got a couple little holes looking spots in it. What'll happen when they go bad or blow is sometimes it's just a little pinhole in the top and releases the magic smoke. Sometimes it has a little puff of hair that'll come up like it's an angry redhead that can't hold his hair in his hat like me. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is probably clean it up a little bit, any that I can, and then we're going to check out his work for him. Told him not to beat himself up because everybody's got to start somewhere, and there's just not a whole lot of people standing around to help you when you're trying to learn. Luckily, these things aren't so rare that we have to get scared to, you want that? Get scared to work on them. These definitely, the back of these get real hot, so the traces, especially right in there, that's where the color transistors are. It has these little heat sinks. They just don't work well enough. You can see the dark spots there, and there's some traces that looks like they're still on there. But we'll go through and we'll check it with a meter to make sure everything has got continuity. There's one little spot that doesn't have oh, I don't know if I was on camera. One little spot like this that it's just not making connection from one side to the other. All it takes is one little spot, and you're toast. You're going to be searching everything. So the chassis looks pretty good, though. I don't see any explosions. Just evidence of heat and dirt. Let's check the flyback. The chassis was working beforehand, so that's always a bonus. There's the B plus here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this side so we can find that one he was having problems on. I'm going to turn the flash on.
I'm Walter Day, the father of esports, and you're watching Matty Mo's Arcade.
See, that didn't help any, not at all, really. I do have a digital microscope if we need to really get in and look. Do this, and I can show you in camera a little better. if I can find it. Might have to break out the meter. I thought he said it was around the edge, so we should. Oh, okay. Yep, there it is. So yeah, it looks pretty charred over here, and that may not even have been his fault. What is this component? Bunch of resistors. Maybe one is burnt up. We have some a jump trace kind of right there. It's basically same thing as you would do as if you put a piece of wire in between, just running the solder across. I'll get us a much better view of this in just a second here. Just want to get an assessment on it. I do see some spots where it looks like maybe the chassis rode around on the inside of the frame of the monitor a little bit, but this one's not terrible. We had one time where the back of these were all just strands hanging off, and just kind of had to hot glue them back down. So this one's not too bad. It was just starting to take some heat damage. Looks like maybe a cap leaked across here. Could be dirt as well, but it looks like it ran like water. Could have been any one of these. That's the new cap there. Alright, so next I'm just going to dust this off with my dust brush, and then I want to set myself up a good little workstation here, get the soldering iron set up, and go get all the supplies I need, and then we'll start diving into this, and I'll just work with you on every cap and show you guys any little problems I come across and what I do to fix them. So stick around, be right back. Alright, this is the back of the neck board, and I want to show you, let's take a look at these here first. Okay, so over here on the far right, they look more rounded and kind of like BBs. And you can see these here more like flattened. These here are going to be like what they call cold solder joints. It's where the part, like the leg part, and the part of the board, the solder pad or whatever, were heated up at an equal temperature for it to melt. But there may not be pads there, so I got my iron heated up, and I'm just going to show you, if it's right, what it'll look like. Just a little bit more time, and it should flatten out a little bit. It's a little bit better, so you can kind of see. I don't know if I can get that much better of a look at it. I'll go ahead and do this one, and then we'll check the continuity with the meter. That one may be suspect still. And these look fine. I'm just going to hit them anyway while I'm here. Got a little extra solder on the tip, so it is going to help that reflow a little easier. Looks like these are on the same pad, so that's okay. And I'm going to move you guys right above this with a little bit better light in just a second. I thought I was going to have a little bit better of an angle on that. Alright, so let me grab the meter. So to check our work, what we're going to do is we'll start at this one here, and then we'll just follow the trace back, and it goes to there. So we'll just put one side of the leads there, the other side there, and if it beeps on continuity, then we know we are good to go. And on my meter, continuity is this one by ohms. I don't know what I did before. I had one that had an audible beep. Okay, so we got one side here, and it follows down to here. We're good. I still want to just barely put it on there, because you can push hard enough with your lead that you make contact. So you just want to kind of just try it a couple different ways. Let's try this one here. It looks like it just goes straight down. It seems that one's fine too. Okay, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and check these next ones. We'll just know if they're good or not. That goes there to there. Okay, so you can see probably there's a spot right here where it's lifted up. But if I know if there's continuity there to there, then we're good here. So let's try it from here to here, make sure everything's good here. Okay, and that one should be fine as they're touching. You might be able to see it looks like it's a little bit rounded, and it won't matter if it's actually stuck to the board as long as there's continuous flow from there to there for the either the voltage or whatnot to get through there. So if there's a break from here to here, then your parts won't work. It's just going to continue to check. Good there. And anybody will have this problem. Regardless of how good your skills are, there's so much heat damage in this area right here from those transistors that even with super skills, you're going to have to like really pay attention to what you're doing. Because even with a good looking solder joint, it could be cracked underneath. Let's try these. And you can see which ones are new because they're so much shinier. Let's see. Trying to see underneath this where this guy goes. Oh. Should be that one, right? Having trouble seeing that one. It would have to be either that one, that one, that one, that one. Maybe it doesn't touch anything. I'll come back to that one. Okay, so this one looks like it might have a far path going all the way down here. See, I'm just trying to just barely put it on there, just to make sure. This one and this one, right? Sometimes it doesn't really want to beat very well, so we'll just come back over it. Heat it up a little bit. I'm going to do both of those. We'll get this guy too. And reflow that solder a little bit. That's probably all it needed. Yeah, it's much better. This one looks fine. This one looks fine. And these are all for the socket for the neck. So it is important. Did I get that one right? Thought so. See there, it's... Oh, I'm off screen. Over here. I need to move like I said I was going to. So that was this one. So it should go here. So this side, it doesn't have a connection. That side, when you push on it, it does. So let's just reflow that guy a little bit. And I don't remember which one of these it was, so we'll just get all of them. It was that one there. No, I bet it'll be fine. Yep, good. This one's easy. And there's another one. Depending on where you touch it, it's not really getting it. So just just go over it, and really all it is just heating it up just a little bit, and making sure you touch the leg with the iron, and that'll heat both up at the same time. And that one should be good there. Okay. Now let me go ahead and take a little look around where I can get a better look, and then we'll see what we can do with the rest of it. It's pretty good so far. Alright, I just want to go over a couple things real fast before we move on to the main chassis. I did see, let me see if I can get a good look at one. So we kind of looked at you know, the spots where the traces were lifted and the pads were lifted. But they were like, let me see, here's some spots. If you look right in here, there's some scratches across the traces. So anywhere where you have spots like that, see, like right here, it goes across 2 of those traces. You want to do the same thing like we were doing earlier and find 2 solder points, one on either side, just to make sure there's connectivity going through there. Just go through with a good clean eye. There's one there. I went through and did everything, and it was good. We didn't have to do any jumper wires or anything like that. But if I don't have to on this main chassis, then I'll show you. We'll just do one anyway. We'll find a good spot and pretend that there isn't connectivity. That way you can see how to do it. I at least have an example of it anyway. But let me get this set up here and get you back on the tripod, and we'll knock this part out. We're going to go freehand on this part right here. I went ahead and capped all of the regular easy caps that weren't going to be a problem. There's 2 major areas, and we have a bad one here. Let's see if I can get in. I need to get in here and really clean it a little better before we do an example on how to fix this. And then there's another spot there. And then there was a little solder splooge up in here where it just looked like maybe, you know, like some extra solder was on the tip maybe, and then when he pulled away, it just kind of fell off of there. It's common, happens a lot. It had several bridge spots, but I don't think he had powered it on since then, so we didn't short anything, it doesn't look like. I did kind of test in that area, and there weren't any problems that were obvious, so it looks like that part won't be an issue. But I want to clean up this spot. Well, I'm going to clean the whole thing with, I got some alcohol. And there was a spot up here, I've already cleaned some, where one of these caps here had leaked, and it just ran all the way down here. So I want to make sure I got all of that cleaned up so we don't have any issues happening. But I'm going to go through and just make sure none of these spots are bridged. This thing is, this is a 7500. The 7500 and the 7400 are really susceptible to heat. So you might want to just turn your iron down just a little bit whenever you work on these. But I'm going to go ahead and clean this all up before we get in here and do a deep dive on these repairs. But everything went pretty smooth. I didn't see very many problems. There's a couple spots, if I can find them. I really need to clean it first before I can show you. There's a couple spots where it was like scratched across traces that we might have to fix some traces on. But the major problem is this guy here. Let's see how close I can get. So if you see, the trace is gone down this side, but right there where my dirty nail is, the trace is still there. It's just bridged over to that point. So all we have to do is just get that heated up. We can put this back, and then we'll have our eyelet there and our trace, and that's just one side of the cap. And then where you can see this leg is the other side over there. So we'll fix the trace on, let's see if I can get to focus, fix on that side next. But hopefully we can see what's going on there after I get it a little bit better cleaned up. So I'm gonna work on that while we're off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and post this. This will be part 1, because we still need to address those issues there. Any kind of other issues that I can find doesn't look like there's any other major issues other than I said just going through and just kind of tidying things up. Right next to that there's 3 points there that are bridged. It's hard to get it in focus. See, those are all bridged together, so I'm going to need to clean those 3 up. And there's several spots that are like that, and I did a couple myself, so it's not like it's not hard, or it's not hard to do. I don't know where my brain was going. I didn't write a script or anything for this. I'm just on the fly. There's another kind of dirty spot up there that needs to be cleaned. But you want to make sure you get any of that leaked electrolytical crap. That's flux there. Make sure you get it off there because it will damage it in the long run. But I'm going to clean this off, and then after that we still have to hook it up to the test tube, make sure everything works, and dial in the settings and make it look good if we can get it to go that far. So hopefully everything will work after this, and just do a quick repair and show you guys how to do that, and then get to testing it. All right, we'll see you. That one will just be up tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and keep working, but I just want to put this up. Here it is, top side. This guy here is kind of loose. I soldered it in a little bit better, but it's, I don't know, every time I see them they're just kind of loose. We'll have to get one of these transistors put in, or whatever it is. I think it's for the sound. But yeah, I didn't see anything blown up. I did check the fuse. The fuse was good. So just have this guy to change there still. This one here, which I think is a 10 microfarad, 50 volt. I think it's a bipolar or non-polar, whatever you want to call it. I prefer bipolar. And there's our B+. We'll have to remember that. And this is that other cap, that weird one on the edge there. And then I guess this one here, one of these two here is that goofy one. This one here that I didn't change was it just had that splooge spot. It was just a splash, that's all it was. But it looks pretty good. I checked the hot, I checked the transistors, the color transistors on the neck board here. Checked all 3 of those, they all tested fine. I did test these, and these 2 here were off a little bit. So we'll see how the colors and stuff look. And if they have an issue, we'll just change the pots. I need to clean this one up too. You see there's a lot of flux and stuff there. And I think, is that yeah, that's the transistors there. So you can see the dark coloration of it. But the traces didn't come up too bad yet. Like I said, I've seen them terrible on these things before. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up, and I'll get this loaded up, and this will be part 1. Hopefully it'll just be part 2. Hopefully everything goes smooth with those 2 iffy spots, and then we can get to testing it, just in case. Never know with these medium res monitors. You fire them up and something might go pew, and then you have to start all over from scratch. I'll see you tomorrow. These 2 right here are going to be ground and 5 volt. So what do we get here? Did I not turn the game on? I didn't turn the game on. I guess that would help. Hang on.
Here it is. A nice little trade. The person I traded got what they wanted. I got what I wanted. And a pretty good deal on it too.
Super hang on. What I want.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on fire.
What happened? Whoa.
Lots of smoke.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
When you take care of people, people take care of you in this community.
That's the truth.
So everyone, please remember that. Even if we're competitors, we're not enemies.